My wife and her ex-husband. My wife, 45F, was married to Bob, 46M, for almost a decade. They got divorced 12 years ago. There is a story behind it. Bob and my wife were college sweethearts. They got married very young and has been happy. However, tragedy struck and Bob got into an accident which led him to be paralyzed from waist down. My wife was 29 and Bob was 30 back then. My wife took care of him for 3 years. But at then end she just gave up. She told Bob that she could not do this anymore. She knows she sounds selfish but she always wanted kids but Bob cannot have children after the accident. She wanted to get a divorce but promised him that she will always be there for him. She just wants to be selfish for once. Bob, although, he was upset but he understood. They split amicably. My wife stood by her promise and still visited Bob. She was still a part-time caretaker for him before she met me. I, 40M, meet her 2 years after her divorce. While we were dating, she made her situation with Bob clear that she will continue to see him. I know a lot of guys would be skeptical about this. But I just loved her the moment I saw her. Her kindness and compassion towards others is what drew me towards her. After we became official she only went to see Bob once a week. Sometimes even twice. I did not mind then. In fact I liked her ex very much. He didn't treat me like I was the other man. He was always welcoming towards me and even showed me his library. I always felt bad for what happened to him. He was a great man and life has just betrayed him. When we got married, I could still see the sadness in his eyes although there was mix of emotions from him. I always felt that Bob never stopped loving my wife and to some degree my wife still has feelings for him. I know she loves me a lot. She has always treated me like I'm her king and always showed her love to me. Seriously, I am really lucky to have her in my life. Together we have 2 children, 7M, 5F. My kids are also close with Bob. Everything was fine until few months ago, we got the news that Bob has cancer. It was at the last stage and he might not even survive a full year but there is still possibility. The news really shattered my wife. She had stopped eating properly and being her usual cheerful self. I understand it. But here is a part where I am a little uncomfortable with. She now visits him very often. Most of the time I will be there with her. And then few weeks after the discovery she told me she wants to shift in his house. She told me that Bob feels lonely and his siblings do not care about him since his accident. And it will be better if she would just stay with him. I objected. We had an argument and reached a compromise that we are both going to stay. So I've been staying at Bob's house for 2 weeks now. 4 days ago, we were all having dinner and after we were finished I decided to do the dishes. My wife and Bob were chatting. The conversation were like this. Bob, I really missed this. I miss talking to you like the good times. My wife, me too. Remember one time we talked so much that we were late for work the next day? It wasn't even important. Bob, what happened to us, Lily? I mean we were something. People would use us as an example. I miss you a lot. Never thought that when I was dying you wouldn't be my wife anymore. My wife, I know. At one point I thought that too. But life had other plans. I mean I love you but I love my family more. It was not the same after your accident. It is as if they forgot that I was in the kitchen and listening to their conversation. My wife was normal after that. We went to bed and kissed each other goodnight. Between this, she wanted to make love to me but I just rejected her. I don't know how to feel about all of this. I trust my wife. I know she is a strong woman with good morals. She will never cheat on me. I know she is just sympathetic towards Bob because their relationship was beyond just exes. They are best friends. I feel like an intruder between them. And I think no matter what my opinion is about all of this, I will always be the bad guy. Update. Alright. I took some of the advice that you guys gave me. Although I was disappointed to see so many emotional people calling me and my wife names without even trying to understand the situation. This will be a long one. Before I give an update, I want to make few things clear. My wife is awful because she abandoned her husband. No, I disagree with that. There is a between terminating a marriage and abandoning. She didn't abandon Bob. She was right by his side. She was just not his wife. I can understand why. She was 29 when this happened. At 29 people are still starting their lives. But her life and her husband's life ended there. You expect her to give up her life, her hopes and dreams? And what then? Resent Bob for the rest of her life? Caretaking can be exhausting. She was emotionally, physically and financially drained while she was taking care of Bob. Would you have still expected her to give up her life if this happened when she was 21? It's not like she didn't try. They went to therapy and did counseling but there was no romance, no intimacy, they just grew apart because they both had different dreams. Despite all of that, she was still in his life. She still took care of him. She could have disappeared after her divorce but she didn't. That's what you call abandonment? Also, the reason why I didn't give all the details was because this was not about her old marriage. But now I'm making it clear because people are assuming things. I know most of your things are black and white. But from a logical perspective, I don't think she is wrong. My wife and Bob are having an emotional affair. Also, no. People who have affairs are secretive. My wife was never like that. She was always upfront and honest about her relationship with Bob. And how she would still want to care about him. I do not think there is any affair. Just because she said she loves him, so what? She says I love you to her kids, her friends, and even my mother. That doesn't mean she is having an affair with all of them. She has kept a boundary between Bob and her. She doesn't love him romantically but like a friend or a family. She doesn't have her own family. She has been in NC with her abusive family since she was 18. Bob was the only family she has ever known. If my wife wanted kids, why didn't she just adopt or do IVF? Like I said in my previous post, she was financially drained. IVF costs a lot here and adoption with a disabled parent is hard. The agencies hesitate to give a child when one parent is not functional. Then again, they would still need money. My wife wanted children of her own. And if they went to either of the route, she would have been the one taking care of the baby most of the time along with her husband. Bob almost went broke during all the caretaking. It wasn't until a few years ago he started a remote job that allowed him to stay at home and earn. My wife will leave me if the same thing happened to me. I doubt it. But even if she does, I would understand it. We talked about this before getting married. That if we have tried every possible option, then one of us can divorce. I do not want to be a burden on my own wife. And? We are both in our 40s. We have pretty much accomplished every goal in life. So if tragedy does strike, then we are prepared. Bob loves my wife. He could. But there's not much I can do about it. I mean, I cannot order him to stop loving. But he does have some feelings for her. Whether it's limerence or not, I do not know. Though Bob was in a long-term relationship for 5 years with a girl, I do not think his love for my wife is the same as romantic love. What about my kids? Our kids are here for a while and they live with their grandmother. I do not see why people are acting like we abandoned our kids. Our kids love Bob. They do not know Bob is my wife's ex-husband. They only know that Bob is my wife's friend. They are not mature enough to understand it. Now on to the update. I took your advice. I just wanted to do the talk when she wasn't stressed. I texted my wife to meet us in our house, not Bob's. I ordered her favorite food and set up the table. When she arrived, she was surprised to see the setup, and I just told her since she has been stressed lately, I wanted to do something good for her. I called my mother. The kids are with her. Bob is staying at the hospital today, so he is fine too. And she can relax. She was happy and thanked me. We talked about our life and she vented about her job and everything that's been going on. Then I dropped the bomb about her conversation with Bob. I told her about the conversation she was having with Bob and how it made me feel. Well, I like Bob and I know she loves me too, but I cannot help but imagine her wanting to be with him. And it's really like a stab. Though I do appreciate her wanting to help Bob, I want to enforce boundaries. I cannot live forever in her ex's house. We have our own house. She needs to think about our kids too. I feel like day by day I'm losing her. This is just my concern and not insecurity. I expected her to flip out and become defensive, but she just cried a lot. She said that she didn't mean to hurt me. She knows she went too far with wanting to stay with Bob. She says she doesn't want Bob to feel alone. That's why she proposed it. And she feels sorry for not listening. She didn't mean to hurt me. She has been thinking about the living situation. I told her it's not enough. I wanted us to talk to a therapist. This whole thing is just a burden on me. She got scared and said, "Why? Nothing's wrong with us." I told her I want to do this. Just make sure we are on the same page and there are no hard feelings on either side. Then I asked her if she still wishes to be with Bob. Because if he didn't have the accident, they would still be together. She told me she has wasted time thinking about what if. She knows we'd probably never meet, or she and Bob could have divorced for a different reason. The thing is, she doesn't want to think about it. What happened just happened. She loves me and doesn't want to be with Bob. Bob has a place in her heart as a friend and a family. When she said she loves Bob doesn't mean she is in love with him. She hasn't thought about him in a romantic way since their divorce. The only reason she stuck with Bob was because they promised to each other no matter what happens they will be with each other even as a friend. She proposed that we move back home and only stay 1 day a week in Bob's house. She might do occasional visits when it is needed. I agreed, but I still insisted on going to therapy. She agreed to it. We have yet to tell Bob about the news. But I'm sure he will understand. And before you ask, yes, Bob has a full-time nurse. He has family, but they hardly ever visit him. I'll probably not make an update again. And I'm done. No matter how much I try to explain it to you guys, you would only stick to seeing things either black or white. Apparently in the Reddit world, two exes remaining good friends is considered an emotional affair. They don't need context to understand things. I'm also very much drained emotionally. Bob is also my friend. Seeing him getting weak every day just makes me feel hopeless too.